Welcome to episode 6 of Have a Shift Day, and today we are joined by a very special guest, Robby Incmikoski, who's had a spectacular career as a sideline and TV reporter in multiple cities and teams, and we're so excited to have you today.
Welcome.
You know, it's my pleasure to be here. And one of the coolest things about my job, let me say right up front, when I see the younger generation like the four of you who aspire, I assume, to get into broadcasting in some way, shape, or form, and you're doing this at the college level, I think it's really cool to see you all getting real-time experience with real guests, producing real shows. And it's something I wish I had a chance to do in my earlier life. And I'm really happy to be able to have a chance to go back and, you know, work with the younger generation a little bit. So thank you guys for asking me to come on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
This is really exciting for us, and we're really excited to have you.
So just to get started, we want to learn about your background here. So you had a bachelor's degree in education from the University of Temple. Like, how'd you transition to that into the sports industry? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's Temple University, Jake. Now make sure you get that right.
All
Don't
right.
offend people at Temple University in Philadelphia and beyond, okay?
All right, we're Pittsburgh people
man.
here, so
I know, right? No, you know what? So my mother was a teacher when I was growing up. So I had my mother obviously as a role model, and she was teaching growing up. And then when I was a kid, I had a very deep passion for sports. I grew up in South Philadelphia, right by the old Veterans Stadium, where the Eagles and the Phillies used to play up until 2003. And then I was pursuing athletic training because I used to work for the Eagles as a trainer and a ball boy when I was a kid. And then I realized I wanted to take a different path in life. I didn't want to work in a locker room my whole life. So my mother was teaching elementary school at the time, and I thought maybe I'll follow my mother's path. So I decided to switch my major. I entered Temple as an athletic training major, and then decided I wanted to go into teaching. So I pursued a degree in elementary education, only to realize my passion was in sports, not in teaching. Although I love teaching, I wanted to make my living in sports, and preferably in sports broadcasting, whether that was radio or TV, writing, newspapers, whatever it was. That's something I wanted to pursue. So I realized after a while TV was my passion. Mm-hmm. So I had an elementary education degree, and I actually went to graduate school and dropped out of grad school a couple classes short of my master's degree, as well as the comprehensive exams, which I really didn't think I had a fair shot at passing anyways. So So I just pursued television, and things kind of worked out for me. So that's kind of why it looks a little weird in my bio. I never took one broadcasting class in my entire life. That's why I said to you a couple moments ago, I wish I had a chance at your folks' age to do this, to get valuable experience that you're getting right now. I just did it. I pursued teaching, and I realized that teaching is something I want to do later in life. Maybe in the coming years, that's something I'd like to pursue. Like some of my colleagues and mentors and some of my bosses do, they teach broadcasting classes. That's something I like to pursue down the road, to kind of give back to the younger generation and help them as much as I can. But yeah, that's kind of why it looks that way. I wanted to pursue teaching to follow my mother's footsteps, only to realize that television is ultimately where my passion lies. So that's kind of that's where I am right now, and that's why my bio reads the way it does.
I'd say it worked out just fine for you, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been very lucky and very blessed to do this to this point in my career, and they haven't run me out completely yet. So we're going to give it as much as much run as I can out of this.
Yeah. Do you want to describe like your first job in like television? Like,
oh yeah, I'd be happy to.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually kind of a great story, and it connects in a pretty unique way. I don't know if you saw, and I say this. None of this is to get political at all, but I don't know if you saw that President-elect Trump nominated Susie Wiles as his chief of staff, the first woman chief of staff in the history of the White House. Susie's father was legendary broadcaster Pat Summerall. And Jake, I think I mentioned my time working with Pat. That was my first job. So I actually worked with Susie's father. I was his right-hand man for a year.
Wow.
So my first true job in broadcasting was a spotter / right-hand man for Pat Summerall. Now, assuming you folks being a little bit of a younger generation, have you heard of John Madden? You know John Madden is a legendary football coach.
Yeah.
You know him I'm sure you know him from his broadcasting, and obviously the video game is very, very popular.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pat Summerall and John Madden were the most famous broadcasting crew in football, quite possibly in the history of football. So my job was to be Pat Summerall's right-hand man and basically get him where he needed to go every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for meetings in preparation for the Sunday broadcast. And I worked with a guy named Brian Baldinger, who was my mentor at the time, who helped me get the job. And Baldy, who, if you follow his Twitter or X account and Instagram, Baldy NFL, he's known for Baldy's breakdowns, which has become very, very popular in the NFL circles. Pat Summerall and Brian Baldinger were broadcast partners in the 2002 season. That was the year after John Madden and Pat Summerall worked the Super Bowl after the 2001 season. That was Tom Brady's first Super Bowl over the St. Louis Rams, which were known as the greatest show on turf.
Oh, yeah.
When I got that job, Baldy said to me, "This is the Harvard Grad School of television." And truer words have never been spoken to this day. I had a chance to work with the greatest football announcer, play-by-play announcer in the history of football, and that was my first job in television. I made $300 a game, and I did it for 17 weeks, and it was the greatest 17 weeks of my entire career. I didn't realize how much I would learn. And actually, if you want to give me a second, I have a picture I can show you. Can you stand by for about 5 seconds?
Yeah,
Definitely. That's one way to start off a career.
Yeah, so I keep these pictures here. So I keep these on my just below my television in my living room to remind me just how lucky I was in my life and my career. And I had a producer, who's a guy named Pete Macheska. He was the game producer. Pete is now the producer of the World Series on Fox, and has been doing that for about 20 years. Wow. And this is, Pat, I'm going to show you a picture. So this is Pat Summerall and I. They let me tape my stand-ups using Pat as my partner. So I have a picture. So that is Susie Wiles' father right there, and that was taken in 2002. And then Pat later invited us to his house for Christmas. So this is in front of Pat's Christmas tree with Judy Wong, who's the executive at Fox, and that's Mike Frank, who's a director at Fox. So I have some really cool memories of working with Pat Summerall for 1 year. And it was the greatest experience of my life, and that was quite the introduction into television. And quite honestly, that is what drove my passion for television, was to stay in the business, whether I could make it on camera or whether I would do it from a production standpoint, whether working as a producer, director, graphics, camera, editor, researcher, whatever it is. I just had a passion for sports and putting it on television. And getting to see how the sausage is made, for lack of a better term, in TV, as you are all learning right now in college, it's quite a process, and nobody steps on camera and does it by themselves. Mm-hmm. So having a chance to work with Pat and seeing how the people behind the camera made Pat look good and put him in a position to shine was really an eye-opening experience for me. So that was my first job, as the 2002 season, working for the NFL on Fox, standing side by side with Pat Summerall for every broadcast he did that season.
Wow. What a way to start your career.
You should look up, when you get time, go on your favorite video site and just research some of his clips and just watch Pat Summerall and John Madden do a game. And you're going to be blown away by how fantastic a crew they were.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Wow. Do you want to go?
Do you want me to ask one of mine?
Yeah, you go.
Alrighty,
cool. You all can ask as much as you want.
Alrighty. I'll go here. So, all right. So throughout your, tremendous career, like with everything that you've done, what is the moment, I guess, like maybe a game or like a time, like maybe an opportunity that you had that you're like, wow, I really do got a good gig for myself, that like you kind of made it in a sense?
So I get asked that question frequently, and I don't think there's ever a time where you think you quote unquote made it, because when I think personally, it's just my personal opinion. I don't know if anybody else would say the same thing, but made it is kind of a relative term, because when you think you made it, I think sometimes people can get a little bit, I don't want to say complacent, but just kind of feel like you can coast a little bit.
Right.
And that's never the case. You never can coast, no matter how big you think you are in this business, because no matter how big you are or aren't, somebody's always bigger. Somebody's always had a better career. Somebody's making more money. Somebody's a little more famous. Somebody, has a few, has endorsements, that kind of thing. So I wouldn't say I've ever quote unquote made it, but what I will say is this. I'll tell you a funny story. So my first job full time as a broadcaster was like in television. I did radio for a couple of years, but in TV, it was in 2009. I got a job as a TV reporter for the Minnesota Twins and the Minnesota Timberwolves, working for Fox Sports North. and it was in the 2000. I want to say it was 2011. I don't know if my dates are correct, but it was either 20. I'm almost positive it was 2011. But uh, at one time, Ellen DeGeneres, the famous TV host, was making her rounds in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And as part of that, because I think she had changed like the time slot of her show. And I remember my boss calling me into his office and said, "Hey, Ellen DeGeneres is coming through town on a media tour, and you're going to interview her during the game." And I thought, all right, that's kind of cool, like kind of a crossover, somebody who doesn't, not known. Obviously, she's not known for baseball, but she's obviously known as a very famous, host. And she's really funny and entertaining, and people love her. So I thought it was pretty cool to interview Ellen DeGeneres. So I go up about an inning ahead of time to do to get ready to meet with Ellen and talk to her about what we're going to talk about on camera. And, she has like 8,000 people. One person's like, checking to make sure like not one hair is out of place. And one person's like dabbing her, her cheeks with makeup to make sure the powder's perfect and everything.
Yeah.
And I pulled her aside. I said, "Ellen, can I chat with you for just a quick moment, just to go over what we're going to talk about?" And I said, "Hey, I'm sure you've, been to many baseball games before, figure in LA, you've had to thrown out a first pitch or made an appearance." She's like, "Actually, no, it's the first time I've been at a baseball game." And I'm like, "Huh? Are you kidding me? You've never been to a baseball game in your life? Like, you're Ellen freaking DeGeneres. How have you not like been a guest of honor at a game somewhere in the United States of America?" She said, "No, I've never been to a game." I said, "Well, do you mind if I ask you about being at your first baseball game?" And she said, "Sure, no problem." So we proceed to go on camera. We start the interview, and I said, "Here's Ellen DeGeneres, and she's actually attending her first baseball game today, and you're at Target Field. What do you think of the experience?" And she starts to explain it, blah, 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 blah. We do the interview. So the next morning, I wake up. I thought that was a pretty cool experience. I wake up. I had probably 30, 40 messages, and everything was about Ellen DeGeneres. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell happened between last night and when I woke up to have this many messages, but I don't understand. I had messages from people all over the country messaging me. It was on the front page of yahoo.com that Ellen DeGeneres went to her first baseball game. They had the video of my interview with Ellen DeGeneres. And that was my first, like, pardon my language, that was my first oh shit moment where I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, this is like all over the place." So that was the first time I had felt like, oh my goodness, people on the national stage saw me doing an interview on TV, and that kind of threw me for a loop.
Thank God you asked that question. That's awesome. It's like
And
one
it
of those
just came out of
moments.
nowhere, and like clearly it involved no preparation in advance. I had prepared a couple things I was going to ask her, but when she said that, I was like, well, we have to talk about that. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres' first baseball game is at Target Field. That was cool for the Twins to see. So it ended up being pretty cool. So that was my first, like, holy heck. That was my first kind of wild moment that I had where I thought, wow, okay, you interviewed somebody really big for the first time.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Going off of that story, I know you told this story in Roger's class, but I think it'd be good for the podcast. But the Shaquille O'Neal story, do you remember that one?
Oh, do I remember? Do I remember it? So, yeah, that was the first game I ever did as a reporter. I've been fortunate enough to know some people who connected me to the executive producer at Fox Sports Arizona. So that was my first job on television, was Fox Sports Arizona in March of 2008. And I'll never forget this. I was working a Phoenix Suns Memphis Grizzlies game, and that was my first assignment. I was the TV reporter for that game. And at the end of the game, the winning team, you interview a player on the court, as you see all the time after games. You see it in baseball, you see it in hockey, you see it in football. Last night you saw the interview with the Ravens defensive back. I guess not relevant to a podcast, but anyways. So my first ever post-game interview that I ever did in my entire life was Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, wow.
Now, Shaquille O'Neal is 7'1", 7'2". I mean, the man is like just the most humongous man, with the exception of Yao Ming, that like you'll ever see in your life. And he's an extremely, extremely nice man. And here I am doing my first game as a reporter, and I'm nervous as hell just to do the game, period. So the Suns win in a blowout, and the PR representative walks up and says, "Hey, you're going to interview Shaq." And I'm like, holy hell, this is unbelievable. Like, this is the stuff dreams are made of. So at that time, I was doing some work with team formerly known as the Phoenix Coyotes. Now it's the Utah Hockey Club. But I had worked with the Coyotes as a pre and post game radio host for a year, and I'd done a couple of years in the minor leagues with one of the Coyotes affiliates in the Central Hockey League. So after a couple of years of radio experience, I was able, excuse me, I was able to get an opportunity doing some part-time television work just to get me some demo tape material like you guys are doing now. You know, all this podcast are going to go on your demo reels when you go to apply for jobs when you're out of college. So my first thought is, holy hell, I'm going to have Shaquille O'Neal on my demo tape. But then I first thought, I got to not screw this up first in order to put it on my demo reel. So I walked up next to Shaq after the game. I said, Shaq, nice game. Thank you. Kind of shook his head. He's dripping sweat. He's wiping himself off with a towel. And I remember standing there, and I can't really illustrate it like this, but I'm 6'1". I'm holding my hand like all the way up, and my hand is like shaking.
Oh no!
I'm like, pretend this is a microphone. I'm using my TV remote, but I'm like, my hand is like shaking. So Shaq during the game, I don't know if you remember, there's a famous clip out there. Well, I'm sure you didn't see it, but this is on your favorite video search engine too, where Shaq essentially a couple games earlier, maybe a week earlier, was diving for a loose ball and cleared out the entire bench. The loose ball was coming toward his bench.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
Shaq went diving for it, and I'm not kidding when I tell you 5 people just cleared out of the way because they didn't want to get they didn't want to get steamrolled by Shaq. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So a loose ball that game against the Grizzlies. So the first, I want to say they were playing San Antonio. I can't remember exactly who it was, but they were in. So they were running. So a week or two earlier, Shaq dove for a loose ball, cleared out the bench. This particular game, Shaq was a loose ball coming toward the bench. Shaq was running toward it, and everybody was like, "No, no, 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 no." So I had asked Shaq about that play after the game. Like, Shaq, you cleared out the bench a couple weeks ago. Man, you almost did it again. What were you thinking? And I'm holding the mic, and my hand is just shaking as I'm doing it. And he answers a question. I somehow stumble my way through this interview and didn't screw it up. So the next day, I'm working a Coyotes game. I'm in the press box, and everybody looks at me, like a couple of the other announcers and a couple media members. They look at me, and they're like, "Hey, we have a new nickname for you." I said, "What's that?" They go, "Statue of Liberty." They go, "You interviewing Shaq, you look like the Statue of Liberty." As I'm standing and I'm holding the mic all the way up to Shaq, and it's just barely under his chin. And it was the funniest story. That was the first time I ever did a walk-off interview in my entire life with Shaq.
Wow.
I gotta find that tape. It exists somewhere, and I have to find it.
Yeah.
It's got to be out there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be looking for that.
Yeah. We'll make sure we get
I
it.
actually think I've seen it before. Not even kidding.
No way.
My interview with Shaq?
Yeah.
We'll have to
Man.
see.
Because I remember... I was watching... I don't remember what I was watching. I was watching like a YouTube compilation or something one day. And I remember it showed like the original clip you were talking about where like, you know, he dove for the ball and like landed on like everyone. And then it was like your interview after, and it showed the clip of like him running toward the like the people, like you were saying, and everyone was like, no, like moving out of the way. And it was like you asked him about that. I just remember watching that. I don't know when or where or like what video it was, but I do remember that as you were telling it.
It was, I cannot describe to you, and I hope the 4 of you have a chance to experience this in your life, because that means you're in a big situation. Because I'll never forget the nerves I had when I was interviewing him that day. I was so scared. I was prepared. Like, I was ready. I had done my homework. I felt good physically. I had energy. You know what I mean? Like, I was ready to go. I was fired up. But sometimes the big moment is the big moment, and it just scared the daylights out of me. For a little bit, I was like, okay, there's a reason why I'm here. So just proceed as normal and as, you know, try to be as functional as normal as you could possibly be in this moment. But I got to tell you, my hands were shaking, no question about it.
Yeah, I can attest to that, because I have an internship with the Penguins this semester. And it was my first time in the locker room, and Crosby had a big game, so we had to get the audio from him. And I can't stop smiling. Everyone's got a serious face, and my hand's shaking like, oh my God, this is Sidney Crosby.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's not a nicer human
Yeah, he
being.
showed us a picture. It's like, that's my hand.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
You can see his
Because at
hand
that time,
in
and another time, Amari Stoudemire was on that team, with Shaq on the Suns, they were really good. They had Steve Nash, who won 2 MVPs. They were really good at that time. They had James Jones, who was a role player. They had some really good teams. And I remember interviewing Amari after a game, and he was really, really good too. Really nice man. And I remember watching the clip they put on foxsports.com after the game, because they just put all the video after each game for the fans. You know, they can watch all the interviews and stuff. And I watched it like 5 times, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was telling all my friends, I'm like, here, watch this, Mom and Dad, check this out. So I know, Jake, believe me, I've been there, brother. I've been there.
I'm not the only one.
That's awesome.
No, you are definitely not. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, 20 years later, but it's the same experience.
Yeah, all right.
Well, that makes me feel better when I get my turn, hopefully.
Oh yeah. So whenever it came to you working for those various NHL teams you were with, what did a day in the life look like for you on a game day?
Do you mean specifically for hockey?
Yeah, for
or
hockey.
Sports in general.
For hockey, this is for a hockey podcast.
Yeah, so hockey is a little bit, kind of a little bit different monster than baseball, because hockey has the morning skate, and then you have kind of a gap in the day. You go back home, kind of eat lunch, take a nap, get ready, whatever you do. Not so much the player routine, but same for broadcasters. You get there, you get a little bit of, you get a little bit of time. You know, you get there for morning skate, usually 10 o'clock, somewhere around there. So I'd get up in enough time to get to the morning skate, and that's where you get a lot of your stuff. So you would meet with the 2 other announcers, the play-by-play guy. You'd meet with the analyst, and then the producer was there as well. And usually the graphics person, the director, is there, and you kind of sit there. And the morning skate, if I'm being honest, it's pretty useless. I mean, I don't see the purpose of the morning skate. Now, of course, get the blood flowing for the players, get moving a little bit, but like, you're not going to go too hard because you don't want anybody to get hurt. You don't want anybody taking a puck off the ankle. You don't want anybody getting whacked in the shin. You know what I'm saying? You don't need somebody, you're not going to go that hard, right? You're just not. Now, you might look up some line combos and stuff like that, but really it's just a reason people to get together and drink coffee in the morning is what it is. But it's good to get us together to have a little meeting. And then afterward, you go in the locker room, and Jake, I'm sure, is quite familiar with this. After morning skate, you go in. There's a media availability that happens because when you go back to the arena before the game, there is no locker room availability until the game is over. But if you need a player for a pregame interview, the folks in the PR staff will be more than happy to accommodate you and bring a player out from the locker room into the hallway. So a day in the life would look like this. I'd wake up, if I had to be there at 10, I'd wake up about 9. I'd get in my car about 9:30, 9:40, get to the arena. We'd discuss what we were talking about. Now, some of it is done on my couch the night before, where you look at potential storylines. You look at what teams are playing. Are there any connections? Is there a former player on the other team? Is there a player on your team that used to play for the other team? Is somebody, say, for example, Jake Gensel, I know the Hurricanes and Hurricanes and Penguins played last night. I think they were in Carolina, but just say they were in Pittsburgh, right? It'd be Jake Gensel coming back to Pittsburgh. He won a Stanley Cup. He became a star player, that kind of thing. So maybe that's a storyline. Maybe you have something going on with, a player has a charity event going. Whatever 3 or 4 hits that you have during the game prepared, you go over those with the announcers and with the producer, and then everybody kind of comes together with a consensus. Okay, we like this, we like this. We like it, but this is like kind of if we have a boring game or if we have a blowout of a game, we'll go over that. So we kind of finalize what the hits are. Then you go in and get your sound. Usually that's for a pregame hit. So whatever the storyline is, Jake Gensel returns to Pittsburgh. We all talk to Jake Gensel, and we get our sound, go back to the studio, log the sound, get it to an editor, put it together, whether it's a package or a sound bite. I'd go home, I'd eat some lunch, take a nap, then I'd go back to the arena. At about 4:30, somewhere around there, go to the arena, kind of reset, check in with the truck again. Has anything changed? Did any news break? Are there any surprises in the lineup? Is there a goalie change? Whatever happened? And then we get in, we get ready for the game. And the producer will say, hey, here's what I'm thinking for your first hit. You're going to do it at the under 14 break of the first period. Be in position 2 minutes early. Okay, no problem. Get ready and do that, and you do the game. After the game's over, you do the post game, go home. Now, if you're on a back-to-back, usually I'll call the producer on my way home from the arena because a producer's done before you are because you're in the clubhouse doing post-game sound. So they'll go home and they'll say, hey, just give me a call when you're done. But if you have like a day or two between games, just enjoy your night, blow off some steam, go out, have a couple beers, go home, fall asleep, do whatever you do at night. And we'll regroup tomorrow and talk about it, or we'll talk tomorrow night. And then you get back at it the next day. So it's pretty routine, but hockey is kind of cool in that you're kind of up early, do a little bit of work, get all that done. Then you kind of have a couple hours to yourself, and then you go and get ready for the game. Baseball is a little bit different. You're getting there at like 3:00, but I'm not there in the morning. I'm at home all morning, and I go to the ballpark at 3:00, and then you're there the whole day to get everything done. You get your sound, go back to the studio, put it together, get it to an editor, and then get back, get a bite to eat at press dining, and then go do the game. Yeah. So hockey and baseball are completely different monsters in terms of how you approach it from a TV standpoint, but nonetheless, it's a pretty busy day that is kind of all-encompassing. Starts at 9 a.m, ends at 10:00 at night, 10:30 at night, but it's kind of broken up, and you get a few hours here and there to yourself.
Yeah. When interviewing like hockey players, do you have to approach them differently to get like some personality out of their answers? And like,
yes.
why do you think? Yeah. And why do you think like hockey struggles to promote their stars?
Jake, that's a tremendous question. I wish I had an answer for you, but for whatever reason, hockey players live in this like bubble where everybody's afraid to be themselves. They're afraid to show a personality. They're afraid to like say something controversial because they don't want to upset the apple cart. And I'm not saying people should upset the apple cart, because you never want to step out of line. You're a team. You're in unison with one another. You're all focusing and pulling in the same direction to try to win a Stanley Cup. In the regular season, you're fighting for a playoff spot. Then, so like, yes, you want to be respectful of what they're doing, of course. But what sells in sports? Personality.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. We're in the entertainment bit. We're in the candy store life. We're not curing cancer. We're not running the government. You know what I mean? Like these are millionaires playing a kid's game. Don't ever lose sight of that. Yes, Sidney Crosby is arguably, I don't know, this is a discussion for another day. But we know Sidney Crosby is one of the greatest hockey players in the history of the sport, right?
Yeah.
That's not up for debate. He's a great hockey player. Sidney Crosby is not curing cancer. So let's get some personality out of him, and maybe if it's not in his DNA, that's okay. Don't force it out of him. But there are some entertaining guys. You look at Evgeny Malkin. He's an entertaining guy. He's a funny dude. Marc-Andre Fleury is a prankster. Hilarious guy. His teammates love him. He's a great guy, right? Like, why not show that? Hockey players are so hard. You watch a hockey player do an interview between periods. It's all the same canned garbage.
Yep.
Every interview. We got to play hard. We got to get pucks deep and hopefully get to 2 points. I friggin' know that. I know you want to get to 2 points. You get pucks deep. What the hell does that mean, get pucks deep? Like, talk to me a little bit. Like, show me something, And I like, like John Tortorella, right? Like, I know he kind of rubs some people the wrong way, but the man is honest. Yeah. He tells you the truth.
Definitely.
And he's controversial because he's honest. He gives you the truth.
100%.
There's nothing wrong with telling the truth. Yeah, sometimes disagreements happen in a locker room. But look in all of our own houses. Does anybody in their own house agree on everything?
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the four of you might have disagreements. They happen. Yeah. It's okay. You can work through them.
We're roommates, so yeah.
Me and Jake.
We're roommates,
Jake, I love you.
we have some disagreements every now and then.
Right, exactly.
I love you, though.
But ultimately, you realize you have respect for one another and you're friends, and you get along, and you're going to be friends for life. And 20 years down the road, when you all have families, you're going to be like, hey, man, remember those days when we used to argue over who ate the macaroni and cheese late at night when you were drunk? You know what I'm saying? Now, I know you guys drink iced tea and water all night.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
No, but I just wish hockey players would show a little more personality and be a little more appealing to the fans and public. And I mean that seriously. When you look at hockey, right? Paul Bissonnette. You know who he is?
Yeah.
Biz nasty.
That man is a self-described grocery stick, a fourth-line plug. That's what he referred to himself as over the years, right?
Yeah.
But the guy is a huge personality, and look how he's making his living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the man
he's awesome.
Making 7 figures a year because he's funny, and he showed it, and people are drawn to a guy like Biz. He knows the game. He played the game at the highest level. Was he a great player? No, he wasn't. But you know what he was? He was a guy that everybody wanted around because he brought the team together. He got people out for drinks, for dinner. You know, he got guys together for coffee, you know, and he was an entertaining guy in the locker room. And he's got a big personality, and he showed it. And now he's making a living doing it. I wish there were more people like Biz in hockey who could be
Preach.
themselves.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that
Definitely.
makes sense. And I love hockey. I love hockey. I love the sport. I love the players. They're the nicest, most accessible guys that are out there. But I just wish they would show a little more personality on camera.
Agreed.
Because fans would be drawn
Yeah.
to it,
Agreed.
and hockey would be more popular in the mainstream.
Going off of that, what I don't know if you've seen it before, but the NHL's released the series on Amazon. The what
I haven't watched it,
what
but I
is-
know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Wait, so
yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the oh my god, I'm
Face
blanking on
Off.
the name. Yeah.
Face off.
Yeah, the Face Off series. I was gonna ask like if you had like, obviously you just said you haven't seen it, but I was gonna ask if you had like opinion on it because it really does like show more personality of the players who they feature in it.
So take that one clip. I saw the one teaser clip that they did, right?
McDavid.
McDavid, yeah.
McDavid, where
Yeah.
he lost his marbles in the clubhouse,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the locker room, he lost his marbles. He went nuts,
Yeah.
screaming at bombs.
Dig in.
That's who Connor McDavid is.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Watch Connor McDavid's interviews.
Right.
I don't think there's a more boring personality for a superstar than Connor McDavid. And by all accounts, he's a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful teammate. People love him. But why can't we see a little more of that on him? Like that's the true Connor, where
Yeah.
he blew his top. And obviously, you know, you're a series away from winning the Stanley Cup, bringing the Stanley Cup back to Edmonton for the first time since the Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier years. We're talking in the 80s. That's a great hockey town that starved for a winner, and they finally have two stars in Draisaitl and McDavid. And imagine McDavid showing his true personality out there, just how popular he would be. Think about this. If you got 4 people walk into a room at a gala, at a big event, you got Connor McDavid, you got Mike Trout, you got LeBron James, and you got Aaron Judge. Who's going to get noticed?
LeBron and
LeBron.
Judge.
LeBron.
Bang.
Stop
Exactly.
saying Judge.
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah.
Why is
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
LeBron's everywhere.
Exactly.
Aaron Judge is everywhere. Where do you see Connor McDavid showing up making people laugh? Where do you see Mike Trout showing up on a commercial making people laugh?
Right.
Exactly.
You don't see it.
No.
No.
So I wish we had more of that. Does that make sense? Or am I? You tell me.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I
yeah.
agree.
That
You're
makes
spot
complete
on.
You're
sense.
allowed to
And-
disagree with me.
No, you're spot on here.
I agree with that completely because I feel like people like LeBron James, you see them not only on commercials, but they're so big into social media and they're so big into these other different platforms that not only they show themselves not just on the court, but it brings a lot of the younger audience in, so they get more noticed and
Right.
they become more
Look,
personable.
Agreed.
like you show him dancing, he's laughing, he's having a good time, he's messing with his buddies. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty.
you know what I mean? Like, people are drawn to that. You look at, I mean, how many entertaining personalities? I mean, there's so many entertaining personalities in sports out there with social media presences. Obviously, that goes a very long way, especially with the younger generation with social media. But like I just wish we would see that more in hockey. I wish we'd see that more in baseball with the stars. You know, because baseball has great personalities, great personalities. I've been doing baseball for 16 years. I can't tell you how many funny characters I've come across in the game. I just wish we could put them on TV all the time because fans would love to see that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of moments on camera, but like, what's your best moment off the camera? Like, can you tell us a story?
There you go.
Oh man, I'd have to think about that. There are so many of them. Well, I mean, crazy stuff happens. Sometimes
Yeah.
you set up a big interview and your microphone doesn't work. I mean, like you guys, had to make sure you had the audio functioning before we went on camera here, right? Like,
Why are you looking
Yeah.
at me?
Because he said when you're interviewing someone and your mic doesn't work, and that literally happened to you last month
That's
at the soccer game.
true.
what happened?
Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
So it was the first time we were doing sideline reporting for a soccer broadcast this season.
Okay,
And they
right.
gave me a wireless mic to use because I was doing it. It was something that I had wanted to do this year. And post game after the men's soccer game, they won. And I went down to the field to interview one of the players. And I had no way to communicate with the people on the broadcast upstairs very well. And so I just did the interview like normal. I knew that like I had started and I was on camera, but I get up there and they were saying like, yeah, your mic did not work. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was on. I made sure it was on, but it's just our tech was not working apparently.
Yeah. Welcome to television. And my only advice to you is get used to it, because that stuff happens all the time.
Wonderful.
We've had, and what they do is in television. So what they'll do is they'll have the wireless mic, right? Like you had, and then we'll have a wired mic as a backup, just for that exact reason. Now, obviously the resources might be a bit different, working at the college level as opposed to, a major league broadcast, but we'll have a hardwire mic at all times ready in case it doesn't work. So we have to quick disconnect the mic, grab the mic flag, and put it on the hardwire mic. This way there's no guarantees. But the problem with the hardwire mic is physically you have physical limitations. You can only go so far with that. Whereas with the wireless mic, you can just climb through the crowd and walk anywhere you want to go. So stuff like that happens all the time. Jake, I wish I had a solid answer. I'd have to think about that. I apologize. I don't have a solid answer. But in terms of that, but there's all kinds of fire drills that happen all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, like, there are times, sometimes a guest is late and you're like, oh my God, we're up and one out. Like, I don't know what the hell to do. Like, we have this situated. And sometimes you got to have, the play-by-play guy take it out of break instead of you, and they toss to you because somebody's late. Or like, one time some dude was like, they had a pierogi eating contest at a Pirates game one time. I'm like, are you like, can I make sure you're not going to puke before I put you on camera? I don't need to go around the internet for the next week with this viral clip. Like, let's just make sure you're okay. Take a drink of water and then like take your time. I'll give you a minute and then we'll talk to you. Like, a lot of that kind of stuff happens behind the scenes quite a bit. And the other thing too is like I'll tell you a funny one. The funniest things are like, if I'm up in the booth, are pee breaks between innings. So like there are times like a play-by-play guy will we'll get on the talk back and talk to the producer, be like, hey, can he take us to break? They call the third out and they drop their headset and they sprint to the bathroom. Because at PNC Park, you got to go a good 100 feet to the bathroom. And if the urinals are taken, you are in trouble. Never take the fastest pee of your life. And sometimes there are times like I'd have to pee in the 8th inning and the Pirates are winning, or like it's a 1-run game. And I'm like, I really have to pee. I'm like, dude, I'm hauling ass to the bathroom right now. Because you don't want to be doing an interview when you have to pee. Trust me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's below the belt, but I swear to God, that happens all the time.
That's just what I needed.
That's
there.
Awesome.
There are times I see Joe Block sprinting. I'm like, oh, he's in a commercial break. It happens to everybody, believe me. And you'll hear a lot of broadcasters say, the best thing about the booth in this city is the bathroom is right next door to the booth. They have to take 5 steps to get there. So that's the truth, man. I'm just giving you the truth. It happens all the time.
That's what we want.
Yeah, we love the truth.
We love it.
We need the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know how you follow up talking about pee break.
Yeah. I guess I'll go back to your hockey, working with the Wild, Coyotes, Golden Knights, and the Penguins. Who stood out to you as the best teammate or leader of a team for you?
You're talking about players, right?
Yeah, players.
Oh man, I would say, well, with the Coyotes, Shane Doan was the leader of that franchise. His son Josh is now playing on that team, or I think he's up and down between the minor leagues and the NHL team.
Yeah.
But Shane Doan was the most wonderful representative of a franchise I think I've ever come across in my entire life. The way he represented the team on the ice, he was a great player. He was a captain for a number of years. He came with the team from Winnipeg to Phoenix, and then he proceeded to get crapped on by the ownership, and they chased him out, which is actually a very, very much a crying shame. But he was a great leader, and he was a great representative. He never said no to a fan, an autograph, a photo. The way he led that franchise is something that should be followed by every leader. Should look at Shane Doan and look at how you lead a franchise. Look, maybe he's not the most points wise. Look, the guy's not going in the Hall of Fame, but he was a damn good player. And played a ton of games, all in a Coyotes/Jets uniform. He was a great leader. I think when you look at the Penguins, come on. Look at the big four,
Yeah.
Letang, Malkin, Sid, and obviously Marc-Andre Fleury. And then you got a veteran team. Now, with the Golden Knights, I only worked with them for the first month of their existence. So I don't have a ton of experience there that I can really speak to. But Marc-Andre obviously was a key cog in that team, making a finals run in their first year. Obviously, he wasn't there when they won the cup 2 seasons ago, but he helped kind of set the tone there, along with a couple other veteran guys that they had, coming to a new expansion team. And with the Penguins, I don't think along the lines of Shane Doan, I don't think there is a more humble, generous, polite, respectful superstar than Sidney Crosby. He is as good as they get as a human, and he is as good as they get as a hockey player, and he is as good as they get as a leader. He's obviously not very vocal. He's not like a real loud, boisterous guy. But Andrew McCutcheon's not a loud, boisterous guy, and he's a leader in the Pirates clubhouse. He leads by example. He's not a big rah guy. But some players lead by example. Some players are fiery and they yell and scream a lot. I've seen them all, but I'd probably have to say Sidney Crosby and Shane Doan, probably by far the two best leaders I've ever come across in my career in hockey. And I don't think there's a close third behind those two.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You mentioned working the first month in Vegas. Like, how crazy was that atmosphere in Vegas? And did you know, like, this is a hockey town now?
So there's a little bit of emotion behind it. If you remember, there was a shooting that took place October 1st, 2017, where a bunch of people lost their lives in a shooting. So you have to kind of know a little bit of the context going into it. The first game was played October 6th, 5 days later in Dallas. So we had a back-to-back. So we were in Washington, D.C. It was a Sunday, October 1st, 2017. I'll never forget it. That was the night that the shooting happened. And obviously it's a very, very, very sad situation. It was a country music concert, and someone shot out of the windows at a Mandalay Bay hotel and killed a bunch of people. So that's obviously a very heavy topic to discuss. And that my intent is not to go there, but that kind of ties into the emotion of how hockey kind of came together quickly in Vegas. So we had a back-to-back. I flew that Wednesday to meet the team in Dallas. Had a game in Dallas. James Neal scored both goals in the first ever game for the Vegas Golden Knights. They won 2-1 at Dallas. Then they went to Phoenix the next day, beat the Coyotes in another low-scoring game. I think James Neal scored a game-winning goal again, first two games, if I remember correctly. And then we flew to Vegas for the first game in Vegas Golden Knights history, which was a home-and-home against Coyotes. So there was a remembrance of the Vegas shooting that happened before the game. They brought out all the first responders that helped, the nurses, the doctors, the medical assistants, everyone that helped, physical therapists, everyone that helped everyone who was affected by that tragedy. And I will never forget, during intros, they brought out all the first responders to stand out there with the Coyotes player or with the Golden Knights players, and then the entire Coyotes team skated behind the Coyotes or behind the Golden Knights and stood behind them as a show of support. And it was one of the most special moments I've ever experienced in my life. And Derek England, who is a former Penguin, was on that inaugural roster for the Golden Knights, and he married a girl from Vegas. So Derek England makes his home in Vegas. I don't know if he still does, but at the time he was not only playing for the Golden Knights, but he lived in Vegas full time, year round. And I remember Derek taking the microphone and speaking about how Vegas strong and how Vegas comes, we pull together in tough times like this. And that shooting kind of galvanized a city and a hockey team. And for some reason, it was kind of magical to see it come together that first month. They had 8 home games. They were home for 3 straight weeks, and they played really well. Yeah. They just kind of shocked the hockey world by just getting off to a hot start. Marc-Andre Fleury got hurt. They were 3 or 4 goalies deep at that time, but somehow they just kept scoring. They just kept winning. And we're like, how the hell is this happening? Why is this team winning? Is there a higher power involved? Is it like what is going on here? Because it turns out they're a pretty talented hockey team, pretty good. And they kind of came together. So I think it was a combination of that strategy, kind of bringing a city and a franchise together where they kind of bonded. You saw players making appearances at hospitals, at rehab facilities. They were bringing, hats and pucks and, signing autographs and taking pictures. And you kind of ingratiated yourself into a brand new community. Now, I had done that in the minor leagues in northern Arizona with a team called the Arizona Sundogs, where hockey was new in northern Arizona. It wasn't new to Arizona. Hockey was a decade in Phoenix, but in like Flagstaff and Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, and like 2 hours northwest, like people don't know really what the hell hockey was. And then we won the championship our second year of existence in the minor leagues, and it kind of brought a city and a team together. So I saw it obviously at a very, very micro level, but then see it on a scale in Vegas. And not to mention, come on, man, teams going into Vegas think they're not going to have some fun the night before a game. Free trip to Vegas, stay at the Bellagio. Come on. So I think it was kind of a combination of everything, and it was really, really cool to see it happen. I only did the first 11 games of their existence, but nonetheless, it was a real cool experience, especially that first ever game that they played between the Coyotes and the Golden Knights, the night they paid tribute to the victims of that shooting. So it was a real cool experience there.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. So with us four being people in sports like broadcasting and communication, wanting to eventually get into a spot like you one day, what's the best advice you can give for people like us who just want to be in a career like you had, or like you have right now?
Yeah. Well, you're all doing it right now. Like, you are doing what I would tell people to do, and that's get real life experience. Because nobody is a polished product the first time they step on the air. 0%. No one is. I wasn't. None of you are. You got to work at it. You got to work. You need reps. You need to get better. You need experience, like like you did with the busted microphone. After a soccer game, you got to learn how to react to tough situations, because they're going to happen, and they're going to happen at the highest level, potentially at the most critical moment. So what are you going to do? Are you going to freak out? Sorry, it's my alarm for my next meeting. But what are you going to do? Are you going to go nuts? Are you going to flip out? Or are you going to stay calm, cool, and collected? You have to learn real life experience. So what I always say to people is just do it. Whether you're doing an interview that doesn't make air, get the reps of doing an interview. You guys are doing a podcast. It's a real live podcast that you're doing. I, at some point in time, I'm going to do a podcast to promote a book that I'm writing. So I'm going to have to learn how to work the equipment. I'm going to have snafus, because I'm not really good at the technical side of it. So real life experience matters more than anything else, in my opinion. Just do interviews, get reps, get comfortable on camera, get comfortable with headphones on your ears, get comfortable with a microphone in front of you. Just get comfortable, because you have to make it as natural as you possibly can, because when people are watching, they're going to notice if you're not comfortable on camera, and it's going to make them uncomfortable watching you. When you have an awkward moment on camera, it's awkward for them to watch. I'm sure you've seen it all the time. You see broadcasts happen, you see awkward moments, you're like, ooh, you want to change the channel. Like, that stuff happens, man. It's real life. It happens. Crazy stuff happens in our business. So get reps. Just do it as much as you possibly can do it. Don't make decisions based on money. You get a chance to do a gig, you do it. If it pays you $50 to work 10 hours, go do it. Whatever it is. Internship. Jake, you're interning. Go do it. Just get as many real life reps as you possibly can, because I'll tell you right now, the four of you that are college students, you're all still in college, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep. So the four of you in college, you have more reps now in college today than I ever had my whole life in college. So remember that. You're getting valuable experience doing what you're doing right now by interviewing people. And you're learning your craft, and you're perfecting your craft at a very young age. By the time you're 25, 26, 27, 30, you're going to look at these tapes and you're going to laugh. Look at how terrible I was. And the fact is, none of you are terrible. You just need some work. You know what I'm saying? You need polishing. You need reps. You need to get comfortable in your own skin. You need to get comfortable. And when I say comfortable in your own skin, I mean professionally. You know what I mean? Like on camera. You need to get comfortable. You learn how to dress, learn how to carry yourself, learn how to smile, learn how to shake hands with people, learn how to walk up to people and introduce yourself and just say, hey, my name is Robby Incmikoski, and I'm working the sideline for this broadcast. May I please have a moment to ask you a couple questions about your team? Get comfortable talking to coaches. Get comfortable talking to players. Kind of have an idea what their schedule is and how much time they do or don't have. You see a guy running, hey, I just need you for 30 seconds. I need this one thing. In a third down situation, what do you want to attack? What are your goals? Or you're in soccer. Hey, you got a great team. Their goaltender's fantastic. How do you think you can break through on them? What's your plan of attack? Don't give away the strategy, but can you just give us a little bit of insight on what you're trying to accomplish here on offense, or how you're trying to prevent the other team from scoring How are you going to strengthen your defense? Just little things. Learn to develop relationships, because once you do that and you earn their trust, you're going to really, really excel in this business.
100%.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And before
Thank
we
you.
let you go, could you tell us and any of our listeners about this book that you're working on?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. I decided to take a chance on myself. I love ballparks. Have had a passion for baseball stadiums. I love how they tie into a city's local flavor and vibe. So what I did was just bought a digital camera, take pictures, something that fit in my pocket, and thought it was going to be kind of a cool thing to maybe put together an album for myself when my career was over. And then I met an author along the way and decided to put together a coffee table photo book with my photos and stories from those associated with the experience at every ballpark in Major League Baseball. So it's going to launch for pre-sale when spring training opens in mid-February, and the physical book is going to launch at the All-Star break in July. So just stay tuned. I'll put it out when I have more information available. I mean, we're still in the, not infantry, but we're kind of in the toddler stages, if you will, of putting this book together. But it's going to be a coffee table photo book with stories from those associated with the biggest moments, as much as we can with each ballpark. So, for example, I interviewed the guy that gave up Barry Bonds' 756th home run back in 2007, Mike Bassick. It was the biggest story in sports at the time when he broke Hank Aaron's home run record for the all-time record in homers. And I talked to the guy who gave up that homer, and he gave me great detail of what that night was like. So you're going to get stuff that you otherwise are not really going to hear, that you're not really going to get. So I tried to get a lot of firsthand accounts from those who witnessed some of the biggest moments at each ballpark in Major League Baseball. And then we're going to have QR codes in each ballpark that link to a site with the rest of the photos, because I have over 6,000 photos that you can look at of each ballpark, and then the longer versions of each story. So it's going to make you laugh. Some of it's going to make you cry if you're a fan of a certain team, because maybe your team didn't win a big game, but it's going to be pretty cool. So we're trying to give you, a big tour around Major League Baseball firsthand from the comfort of your own home. We're going to interview about 130, 140 people and put them all in this book. It's going to be a pretty cool project.
All right, one last question before you go. What does PNC Park rank on your all-time ballparks?
Oh, it's number one.
Absolutely. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, and I don't say that because I'm a homer. People ask, I'm going to say PNC Park, AT&T, it's not AT&T, it's Oracle Park now in San Francisco. I love Kansas City because I think the fountains are just so cool. Denver, Colorado is really beautiful. I like Cleveland for some reason. I like how you go into a stadium and you go down into the stadium. That's kind of cool. I like the way it's structured with the old school light towers and stuff. There are so many beautiful ballparks around Major League Baseball. San Diego's a gorgeous place. Seattle's beautiful. It's just, you're going to get some great pictures and see some great ballparks and get some access photos too. What does it look like when the player steps out of the clubhouse and walks to the dugout? I took pictures of how skinny the tunnel is at Fenway Park and just how small that dugout is in Fenway Park. And so you're going to get an up close and personal look at all the ballparks around Major League Baseball.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Dude.
we'll definitely look forward to that book, and
The
we'll read it.
reading it.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
it.
Definitely.
Yeah, but
Call me anytime. I'm happy to come back anytime you folks want.
for sure, we really appreciate your time
Thank you
today.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
you.
so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Good luck to you
All
all.
right, thank you,
Thank
Robby.
you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a wonderful
You
day.
have a great day.
See ya.
See ya.
See you, Robbie.
All right. Well, thank you again to Robby Incmikoski for joining us on the show. It was a
That
great
was awesome.
What a guy.
interview.
What a guy.
Great advice. Great stories.
Fantastic.
We all really
I
enjoyed
think
that.
that will end up being one of our GOAT guests.
I think,
I think all of our guests have been
they're
great.
all
All of our
goats.
guests.
They're all
Tracy,
goats.
Jaden, Robby, we love them all.
We have had so many.
that's just a
great
lot of
guests.
fun, and it was just a good conversation and good guy.
Yeah.
So it was really
We'll definitely try to bring in more people for the podcast too.
maybe when
Yeah.
maybe later on when the book is over, we could see how it's
Yeah.
and stuff like that. We could check in on him and have
Yeah.
him in again.
Yeah.
And
Awesome. Great insight.
here we go.
Yeah, let's go. I'm
That
fired up
That
now.
was awesome. Thank you, Jake, for that, guys.
Yeah, good job, Jake.
Thank you.
All right, let's do it. Time is 12:01. Let's do this thing.
But before we continue, quick note: we will not have a show next week because
Why, Megan?
we're going on a road trip.
Oh.
We got a sponsor.
No, we don't.
Oh.
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Enterprise has been cool enough to send us a hockey road trip of our choosing. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah, and we chose
I'm literally
Columbus.
just-
Wait.
I'm literally
It's
just
the
quoting
closest
bar
place.
down word for
We may
word,
not
bar for
never
word.
have a show after this because Megan's gonna have a tough time with us three.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm driving. So
Just
Thanks,
don't look at
Megan.
the playlist.
pray for me. I'm gonna look at the playlist. We're playing the music from my phone.
No, you can't look at.
No.
It's
It's got to be a
a surprise.
It has
surprise.
to be a surprise. It's a good
I've
playlist.
already looked at the playlist, guys.
When's the last time you looked at it?
Maybe either yesterday or 2
Ooh.
days ago.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's just. How about this? Let's just wait
Yeah.
until the car ride, and then we'll just put it on a shuffle, and it'll be fantastic.
I was gonna shuffle it anyways. What if
Oh, it's
Okay,
great.
good,
great.
good.
Great.
That's how a playlist works. You shuffle
There's,
it.
there's some
What if
bangers
you,
in that
dude,
playlist.
Yeah, heavy hitting songs. Like they really make you feel like
I
you're.
might need
like,
to throw in some more just to keep
I
my
think we got it
sanity.
covered.
Yeah,
I think we got it
it's all
covered.
good.
We can make it work. Anyway,
Oh,
let's continue.
Okay. Pray for me. We're not gonna have a show next week. We will have a vlog though, because of course we're gonna vlog this.
Vlog.
Fuck. So, never mind. I'm not gonna say it because you'll kill me if I do.
But before we get into trivia for this week, we didn't want to go too much into the Penguins. One, because
No, you don't have to dive in.
one, there's not much to talk about. Two, recording
Okay.
date and release date are different this week.
I just want to say
Um,
2 things about this team. Number 1,
Yeah, just get
I
any
forgot,
thoughts.
I forgot to say this after the last podcast, and he asked for a shout out. My boy Levi, he came to the Pens Ducks game. I got to meet him for the first time ever after that game.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah,
You
I
told
got,
me
I
about
got to
that.
meet him after that game. So that was awesome. Levi, great meeting you in person. He got mad that I didn't shout him out when we talked about the game last
no.
week. So just wanted to get that out there. Secondly, this is requested from my dad. Eric Carlson, what are you doing?
Thanks, Nick's dad. Thank you.
I think we
Eric
could ask that to a
Carlson.
lot of players.
Yo, hold on. I just want to
Well, Sullivan
share.
kind of
I just want to share a specific
some players
photo
under the
from
bus,
yesterday's
right?
game.
yeah.
because what did he? I forget what he said.
Yeah, this. So Sebastian Aho has the puck, right?
But yeah, I remember.
He took
You
the-
What
tweeted
is
this out.
what is brother doing? So Megan, Sebastian Aho has the puck, right?
I
What
did
is
see that
Eric
last night.
Carlson doing?
Nick, can you
Oh
send me that
my.
picture?
I
How many likes did that get?
Send me a quick send.
Nick
would be
has
awesome.
editing power today, which one I'm scared to. Put that in, please.
Can you send me that?
Of course, I can send you that.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, and Sidney Crosby also broke the record for most face-off.
Oh, yeah.
He did.
Yep.
That's a
he
positive.
did.
It's awesome.
Also, I do have one more positive of
In
last
NHL
night.
Most face-off
NHL.
wins.
History. NHL.
We outshot the Hurricanes and lost by 4.
Carolina got less than 20 shots,
Yeah.
by the way.
18 shots.
It's gonna be a long year.
Oh, so
I will say
here's the-
this is what. Oh, go ahead,
No,
buddy.
you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay,
you
so
go ahead.
about the Penguins, I believe that it's we can't say we're frustrated over and over again because we all know we are, but they all look like, and they all just
Traffic
look like
cones?
no. I changed. They all look like a dog running after like a ball. Like they're all looking at the puck, and like the puck moves over this side. They're all like, all right, let's get the puck.
You know what
Oh,
they
it's
all-
behind us. It's over this. It's over here. It's over here.
mine.
That's exactly what
They
it is.
all-
They're
they
not
all-
playing. They're not playing
I'm
body.
visualizing
They're
my
not
puppy
playing.
right now.
But you know what I mean, though.
Guys.
If you watch these players, it's absolutely like despicable because these guys they're just looking. No. But that's the truth.
Looks like a
And
flock of
you see
birds.
these other teams, they're finding gaps and they're playing the body and they're playing the person.
They don't.
And these guys, they're trying to find these gaps. They're trying to play this zone that's not working. They're getting clumped up. You got 3 or 4 guys in one spot, and you got 3 or 4 guys in the opposing team that are open. You got to play man. These other teams who are playing unbelievable, they're playing man. They're each of I pick a guy. You lose a puck. All right, you have to pick a guy.
Yeah.
You pick a guy and you stick on him. They're like everyone's just watching the puck.
They all don't
And
play a
that's it.
200-foot game right now.
All right.
By the way, welcome back,
Anthony
Ryan.
Beauvillier is
What are you doing?
copyright.
Mine.
I could hardly
Yeah.
hear you.
when they see a puck, mine.
No, but I remember I was watching.
That's the equivalent of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I was
when they see the
watching,
puck right
and
now.
everyone was doing that. Everyone. It was the entire squad was doing that, and it was brutal.
And the Hurricanes, they play that man-on-man defense. And
Yeah.
They play the boring hockey.
Yeah, and they used to like suffocate.
Well, that's what you got to
Yeah.
do, though. I
They-
mean, that's what these.
But
you
usually
win
they suffocate the
sometimes.
Penguins. They can't get anything. But they actually did generate some offense. They just couldn't capitalize on their chances, which
Right.
has
We
been the
lost
story
the
for the last
lead
2
on
seasons.
Tuesday again.
So here's the good news from yesterday. I got a win on Fortnite with 11 kills with Drew.
That's our good news.
Yeah.
If we want to bring up video games, got Black Ops 6. I had my highest kill game, 60.
Wait, you play?
I do play.
But do you play?
I do.
Oh, we got to play. We
playing!
got to play.
Yes!
All right. But I got my highest kill team deathmatch. 64 eliminations.
Dang.
64.
Yeah,
I haven't played it all
You
this
want to
weekend.
play? You play Fortnite?
I do play Fortnite.
You want to
Have a shift day gaming channel?
Not a gaming channel.
Wait a minute.
Have a shift day plays Fortnite.
Oh no.
Wait. I have a question.
I can't. I have it
No,
on.
we're all
We're
playing.
going- no, since we're
We're
going
all
to Columbus
playing.
next weekend. What if I
Ooh.
bring my Xbox?
I said that when I remember in your room. I said, "What if Nick brings his Xbox?"
Oh yeah. And then Drew threw a fit.
yeah.
Why?
I said,
It's like,
"What if
Nick brings that Xbox? I'll be pissed."
Yeah.
That's what
Why?
he
Guys,
I said, remember I said that. I
I
said
can
Nick's
bring
gonna bring
mine.
the
I have
Xbox.
a newer one.
Megan has an Xbox too.
Wait, then you have to set it up in your room.
in your room, and then
I wasn't gonna tell him where my room was.
Oh, room
I'm
service.
like, woo! I'm at the hotel, motel, Holland. Megan, this is gonna be we're gonna make you.
okay.
regret
Let's get real though.
coming
This
with
trip is gonna be awesome.
You're gonna get like
This
a
room is gonna be
$100
amazing.
receipt for room service.
Be like, why is that caviar coming to my room?
You could put it on a room
us. Megan,
301.
we're buying you like filet mignon, like the most
Okay, but I'm making
Most
you guys pay
expensive
for it.
steak.
most expensive steak on the
No,
menu.
we
the
get some
mankind.
Wagyu. Go in.
Wagyu, A5 Wagyu on
Oh
that
my
John.
gosh.
Okay, I mentioned Levi. I can take that off my to-do list now.
That was awesome.
Levi, I love you,
I said
buddy.
he'd mention the
Yeah,
Xbox.
I know.
I'm
Wait, but
only
what if
took
I
a
bring the
day.
Mini 6?
You have to bring the mini
My
sticks.
knees are cooked right now.
No,
No,
come
so
on,
am
we
I.
gotta
So
play.
It
am
hurts
I.
to watch.
We gotta play.
We
Come
played
on.
Mini 6 like when was it? Yesterday?
2 days ago.
2 days ago? We played Mini 6 at like 11 o'clock at night.
We-
Oh.
it
Me
took
and
an hour.
Ryan finally, Jake and Drew finally
We
lost.
don't want to talk about
Me
it.
When
and
are we gonna
Ryan
have time for these
beat 'em.
activities?
Me and
We got plenty of time.
the game ends at 9:30. What? you think
True,
we're
but
going to
Jake-
bed immediately?
That's
No, you're
true.
not. Don't even say you
I'm
are.
not.
Don't even say
We're gonna.
you are.
I was expecting we could like take a nice little walk around Columbus, like explore a little bit.
We could do that
Hey,
before
hey,
the game.
Listen, Levi.
Well, it's
True,
still
we'll be
light
there a
out.
while,
Listen,
yeah.
Levi did give me a restaurant recommendation.
Okay, cool.
So,
That's awesome.
he said it's a bit of a drive, but like it's still like in the city.
Drive.
Megan,
It's
you have
not-
a car.
it's
That's
not
true,
Burger
but I was
King?
hoping to walk places.
Okay, we can. If you
I
don't,
want to feel out the city here. Kind
Yeah,
Okay, you know
yeah.
what,
We see a spot, we go.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, I like
Well,
that.
We really
Feel-
just need to
feel-
travel.
Levi,
I think we just need to have a travel meeting on
As
Thursday
long as we-
before we go.
Everything's
When are we
TBD.
going?
Are we? Yeah, when are we going? Friday.
What time did I say? We literally
11?
talked about this
Oh.
2
Because
days
we want.
ago.
Oh, wait, guys, let's be real here. Like a show, like we all want to be there when doors open, right?
Oh,
Just so we
God,
can, yeah, like.
But
Sure.
how long
I
is it?
also do want to see like the Guglielmo more.
Well, yeah, we want to be
Yeah.
able
Oh,
to
that's a good
explore
idea.
this. I mean, when's the next time we're gonna go to the Blue Jacket Stadium? Like when? Like.
We'll discuss this post show, because we have apparently a difficult quiz to get to.
Yeah, I took
trivia.
it personal again. Also, I made this at like. Wait, Faith gets texted. Oh, she said lol. Anyway,
So I'll
yeah.
pass these out.
So I'm just gonna keep it real with you guys. This quiz might be harder than last quiz.
Oh my gosh.
It has a theme again.
We are implementing timers
That's
for
the theme
overtime
again.
now.
Yeah, we are.
Did you
know what?
make up a fake story like I did?
Thanks, man.
Guys, so I have to do laundry today. Then I have to work out, shower,
Just
do some
handing these
homework,
out.
read my Bible.
Thank you.
And then today I also have to go to church. I have a Bible study at 2. I have to
I'm
go
going
church
to
tonight.
Friday Night SmackDown in Buffalo
Really?
with Brady. Shout out to
Ooh.
Brady.
Tonight?
Yeah, he got me.
Wait, you're going to Buffalo?
Yeah,
Like
tonight.
right after this?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Dude,
Like,
have fun.
I'm leaving like 15 minutes
Are
after
you a
the
big
podcast.
WWE fan?
I went to SummerSlam. I was
Really?
look at the
Dude,
show.
I
That's
used,
awesome.
I used to be like John Cena was my boy back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Dude, I did not like Brock Lesnar.
No one likes Brock Lesnar. Oh, Brady's got to. Okay, yeah, I could talk forever about WWE, but I
Dude,
was at
I used
SummerSlam
to like
with
have
Brady.
the belts and like wrestle with Luke and
I have the real, like, an official WWE
Really?
belt that we could make.
like
we
the
could
authentic one.
the authentic,
Oh,
like
dude, I
big,
gotta see
like
that.
heavy ones. I can bring it.
Yeah, you gotta
I'll bring it
that.
next week.
We need to have a shift day belt.
Yeah.
And on that note, it's time for trivia.
Have a shift day trivia belt.
Like Bo Down. Remember how Bo Down
Yeah.
had the WWE belt?
Well, we're keeping score all season, so we need
Listen,
something for the
Bo
end of the
Down, we
season.
don't copy you.
But what if it was
we
like,
just love you.
Hold on. So what if we got to have a shift day belt? The winner of trivia took it with them for the week, got to have it, and then like has to like give it away to like the next winner, whoever wins, or
Sure.
you can like
Yeah,
retain it.
We can do
Yeah.
that.
We also need. I want to figure out an end of season prize. Maybe we could talk about that while we're
I know
on
what the end of
trip.
season
Yeah.
prize could be.
I know what it can be.
We'll talk about that later.
Anthony
but this-
Bavilla jersey. Wait,
but
I wanna
as-
hear.
As the standing,
Oh,
as the standings sit, Ryan has 8 points. I have 5. Jake
Yes.
has 3. I don't want to know. Nick
Like
has
it-
1. Nick is hosting trivia this week and is going to kill us.
all right, GG's. All right,
get
who's
started.
ready?
We're
Who's
ready, boys.
Let's go. I'm born
Let's go.
ready.
All right, guys. So welcome. So today's theme is my second favorite thing. We did jerseys last time. That was my favorite theme.
Scared.
This is my second favorite theme now. Jersey numbers.
Jersey numbers?
Yes.
I don't know.
We're
You gotta be
cooked.
Yeah, you guys are.
You gotta be
cooked.
kidding.
All right, let's go quick
right,
here
the first
because
five-
I'm
Quest-
screwed. There's no way.
First 5 questions are easy.
does Ryan finally get knocked out?
First 5 questions
Probably,
are
yeah.
easy. The next, like, I have 12 questions because, like, 8 penguins and then 4 just NHL.
Sure. I mean, first of 3 will win, and then we got to figure out tiebreakers because I have a feeling
yeah,
we're gonna
but
need to
like,
get to those.
all
we
you
probably
need to
we
get
probably
to
So-
will have tiebreakers. Yeah.
Anyway,
Ask away.
yeah. So number 1, like I said, 1 through 4, easy. 5 through 8, it's a bit difficult.
Get
Ask the
on with
questions.
it.
Okay. Gosh, okay. Like I'm trying to like explain it. Okay, anyway,
You explained it multiple times.
Just get on with it.
be quiet over there.
All right.
I hope you lose this quiz.
Whoa.
Anyway, number 1, which Penguins wore 66 from 1985 to 2006? Is it A. Jaromir Jagr, B. Mario Lemieux, C. Sidney Crosby, or D. David Savard?
B.
Yeah, it's
B.
Yeah, give yourselves a point.
You said before the quiz, this will be the hardest quiz of your life.
I said questions.
Guys, you're not ready for this. Who wore 66?
The only person ever.
All right, question number 2.
What team do we root for?
How many numbers do the
Seventy
Penguins have retired? A. 2, B. 3, C. 4, D. 5.
What is it with you and B today?
Correct.
Guys, we're one away
Hey,
from this.
Yeah, we're one away from.
Why would you just make it an automatic tiebreaker?
Bria.
Question number 3. Who is the only player to wear 62 in team history? Is it A. Matt Bartkowski, B. Joffrey Lupul, C. Curtis McDermott, or D. Carl Hagelin?
I was gonna say that's a hard one. Then you said the name.
Correct.
I was like, oh, duh.
I wish you wouldn't
I was
have
like,
given
oh,
it.
that's hard. Then
I wish you wouldn't have given it because
Then
I
he
knew
said.
it was.
Then he said Haglin. I'm like, oh yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
It's
Guys,
time for
whoever-
a tiebreaker.
You realize whoever gets like, oh, this is
Yeah,
cooked.
whoever
What
gets
the
it
heck,
wrong.
Nick?
All right.
All right, we all got a point. Good job, guys.
Oh
We
yeah.
did all
we
get
all
a
get a
point.
We
point.
all got-
That's not a good
Welcome.
thing, Nick.
you kind of screwed yourself over instead.
All right, you know what? I'm skipping the next question. I'm going straight to the third.
That was not a good. Yeah, we all get a
All right,
point.
you
point.
cooked
All right,
yourself.
You know what?
You absolutely
You know what?
cooked yourself.
Okay. You know what? Okay. What number has been assigned to a player most in franchise history? Is it A 23, B 16, C 20, or D 17?
Say them again.
I said, is it A number 23, B number 16, C number 20, or D number 17? What number has been assigned to a player most in franchise history?
All right, I got my answer.
Make a guess.
Wait. Is this? There's not just Penguins history.
Yes, it's Penguins history. What number has been assigned?
Penguins.
What number has the
trivia.
Penguins have assigned most in franchise history to a player?
Can you please say that once again?
A,
Sorry.
23, B, 16, C, 20, D, 17.
Stuck between two. Yay. I'm probably wrong here.
Okay, whoever gets
Alright.
the question right first gets the win. I said A. Ryan said D.
Megan, you won.
Really?
It is
Back
A.
to back weeks.
Number
let's
23
go.
has been assigned
What a
34
cooked
times.
quiz.
Yeah.
That was a terrible quiz.
Hey, you guys have to play for a tiebreaker, yes.
All right, you
What do
guys
you
are playing for an
Oh,
extra
again?
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got 3 now.
I
and
got
we have-
3. You
oh,
guys
yeah.
are still each at 1, but one of you is going to get an extra point based
Yeah.
on.
Like, it's a true or false.
Oh.
True or
We're
false.
gonna-
Defenseman Christian Ehrhoff was the last Penguin to wear number 10 before it was given to Drew O'Connor.
Wait, what year was
Christian
Ehrhoff?
Ehrhoff?
Yeah.
2013, I think, if I remember correctly.
Oh, so why was I putting Ronnie Francis in this entire thing?
I know.
You know what? I was nice and made the first few questions easy.
I don't even know.
And then you guys started yapping, so now you're getting the hard ones.
All right,
And I still got it right.
I don't even know.
I think, yeah.
Jake, you won.
Oh, no way.
It is false because
Right.
Garrett Wilson wore it for 2 games in 2019.
Ryan has been knocked
Who?
out for the
Garrett
first
Wilson.
time.
Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, he wore it for like
Wow.
So I
3
got 2
games.
points.
So should we
in
take
2019.
trivia on the road next week? You
I would
get
Yes.
points.
and then I can think about. I'll make
All
a
right,
trivia.
I'll bring the whiteboards. We're gonna do trivia on the vlog next week.
Wait,
That was
can you guys answer this question? Because I just wanted to include it.
Wait, so
Yes.
what's the scores now?
Okay, so now I have 8 points.
Ooh.
You have 9.
Oh!
Jake has 5, and Nick still has 1.
So I'm still in first, but I won't be in
Wait,
first
wait.
after next
Can I
week.
please just
Nope.
ask this one
That's
question?
all right.
Please, please, please.
Sure, but
please?
this isn't gonna count for anything.
Okay,
this is
fine.
just an
Nick,
extra.
you're the favorite heading into this tournament.
Name the
Yeah.
legend who's the only active player who currently wears number 69.
I don't know.
Name the player who was 16.
Wait.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I should say assigned 69.
Assigned?
He has worn it for, I think, like 1 game this year.
Is he part of the NHL?
Yes.
Okay.
Like right
You're
now.
gonna put Jesse, weren't
Wait,
I was
you?
gonna put Jesse.
So is
Oh, yes, he is assigned 69 from an NHL team.
I don't know.
Only player.
Dude, I have no idea,
Was I
dude.
writing on this whiteboard with pencil?
I have no idea.
Is it like a meme player?
I mean,
Is it history or right now?
he's the only, no, right now.
Bro,
He's the only
no
player
chance,
who's assigned
dude.
69.
I don't know.
There's not even.
Assigned?
What team does he play for?
Columbus.
I have no idea. What'd you put? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it Cole Sillinger?
It is absolutely not Cole Sillinger.
That was
He
the only
number
person I
4.
could think of.
Cole Sillinger was number 4 and cheated on Tate McRae.
I got Tate McRae on the playlist, just so you know.
Oh, we know.
Yay!
We got something else.
No, we do.
We got some bangers. On
We got
that
a different
playlist.
animal
I
on
don't
that
know
playlist.
The correct answer was Gordon Dumas.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
I
would
was-
know
yeah,
that. whatever.
No one was gonna know
Also,
that.
who's the only 2 players in recent
So
history
I gotta.
with
I'm okay.
66?
I'm not saying like.
I can't believe Nick
I'm
gave
gonna
us
make
a
this.
free
I'm
point.
excited. I'm so excited to make a quiz next week.
You're the
That's
most
gonna be
gracious
fun.
Guys,
loser so
listen,
far.
listen.
It's gonna be fun.
I made
Making
this
a quiz would be
quiz-
fun.
He's got a comfortable lead here.
I made this quiz
Not
at
for long.
midnight.
I no. I
last
can just come
night.
back in the next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
I can just come back. Wait, I did have a good question.
I made this quiz at like midnight last night. if
Good
you can't
job.
I
Tell.
could tell.
All right.
Oh, you can't tell.
We can do pucks and deep real quick. We've got a little time. But
Yes.
before that, it's time for Andrew's Utah statement of the week.
Oh, I forgot
They
he
kind of
existed.
fall off a cliff. Do I want to ask what that is?
Axe.
No.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Since our last update, Utah has gone 3-4-2 and sits in 4th place in the Central with 15 points and a 6-5-3 record. They had a solid performance and win against the Blues last night, who now sit right behind them in 5th in the Central. Utah recently added former Penguin and 2-time Stanley Cup champion Olli Maatta to the team to make up for their injury-depleted blue line. So far this season, the new captain, Clayton Keller, leads the team in points with 13. Gunther leads the team in goals with 7, and Sergachev he botched the spelling, is proving to be a great addition to the team, leading the blue line and scoring with 10 points. Their next game comes tomorrow night, which will be tonight when this video comes out.
No, it's tomorrow night.
No, this episode's coming out
Oh, yeah.
This episode's coming out Saturday.
I forgot this episode.
So happy Saturday to those who are watching on Saturday. Their next game comes tonight against the bottom feeders of the league, the Nashville Predators. Side note, I did not expect to say that this season. As always, go Utah.
Barry Trotz came out and said, like, if this team doesn't turn it around, like, I have no other choice but to, like, sell off some pieces.
I know. Homie was like,
Yeah.
we're rebuilding? Possibly.
You did not just call Barry Trotz homie.
I say that to, like, everyone,
I've
okay?
never,
I've
ever
never heard you say that.
Really?
Never.
Really? Maybe I mostly say it with Morgan.
Morgan,
You have,
you
like,
need to text us and like tell us.
Is that a factual statement?
Like, is she capping or is like?
It's just kind of like a buzzword for me.
no, it's
homie?
not.
How have I never said
Megan,
it
I've
already,
known
guys?
you for over a year
Yeah,
now,
dude.
and you've never said homie once.
Okay, my bad for calling Barry Trotz homie. My mistake. It just came out.
Yeah, but calling Barry Trotz homie of all people,
He's not homie. Does that make you feel better?
Wow.
he's bald.
He's bald. Yeah.
He kind of looks like Humpty Dumpty.
All right.
We crushed him in the 16-17 playoffs.
Yes.
What do you do in 18?
We don't talk about
You know what?
2018. We don't talk about that year.
Whoa.
That year is just erased from the calendar.
Bad.
I'm getting confused since I was in the KHL for a reason.
Was
now,
he?
Okay.
Was he the coach of the Islanders when Jari had that meltdown?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I gotta stop talking.
Okay.
Jari.
How's that? I like how you have to just say that meltdown and we go.
And just to wrap it up, just a quick little fun pucks and deep we have since we're going to Columbus next week for a trip.
Going on a road
Yay.
trip.
What is your guys' favorite trip you've ever taken?
Oh, that's nice.
Wait, hockey related or no?
Anything.
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 Oh, anything.
Oh,
Uh, I'm going.
take-
Within
you want me to
reason.
go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you go.
My trip to Montana, we went to Yellowstone and Glacier National Park. It's an absolutely beautiful state,
yeah.
and I had 2 weddings there, so it was like partying and
Yeah.
hiking. It was
Isn't Yellowstone in Wyoming?
no, it's in Montana.
It's like big enough that it goes in several states. I think.
Okay, that's probably.
I
Right.
think it's
Yeah.
like because it's so big. I think it covers like it's in
That
several
would make
states.
sense.
Okay.
I'm
could be
getting
wrong,
getting
but I'm-
fact checked.
I'm almost no.
No.
You're right. Cause like Montana, it's part of. I think it's in. I think part of it's in Montana and part of it's in Wyoming.
I'm probably thinking of the Yosemite.
Oh, I think it is in spans across 2 states.
I know ball.
No ball.
I know park.
Yeah, that was probably my
I know park.
that was a great vacation with the family.
That's
Awesome
awesome.
memory. And
That's-
we went
that's a
whitewater rafting. That was
Yeah, located in the northwest corner of Wyoming and extending into Montana and Idaho.
I know
Ooh.
park.
That's awesome.
You know park.
I know ball. I know puck. I know car. I know park.
You know car park.
No car. Like NASCAR, IndyCar.
I was making a joke. Do you know car park?
homie. You don't know that, homie?
Oh, I hate how I don't have editing power this
I'm
week.
gonna. Homie's gonna be a word for the road trip.
Jake, you want to do me a favor?
Huh.
Whenever I have to go to Bible study, and if I am still editing, when I have to go to church tonight, editing's all yours.
I gotta.
Oh, no.
I'm working tonight.
Oh yeah.
Forgot the
Oh,
Penguins
you
play
did
hockey.
good.
tonight.
I'm not. Thank you.
Okay,
Pittsburgh
Drew can
Penguins.
edit.
Oh God, no.
No, that's no.
Ryan, you want to edit?
I got WWE.
He's not gonna be in town.
I'll be
Nick,
in
you are
Buffalo.
only allowed editing power. Drew is not
Wait,
touching.
am I allowed?
I mean, I guess.
I get that's not.
But
Strong.
I guess for tonight,
I
only
allow
Nick.
you to-
Only Nick. No Drew.
Fine.
Nick, what was your favorite trip you've ever taken?
Yeah.
Yeah, so without a doubt, our high school decided it was a great idea to let a bunch of take 100 high school students and ship them on a plane to Universal and Disney for a week.
Oh boy.
And
A week?
Yeah. And boy, let me tell you, some of the stuff that happened that trip, that was a fun trip, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it was, got my own hotel room. We took over some nice resort hotel.
Did the school pay for it? Or did you?
Yeah, dude.
You
We had to kind
Whoa.
of fundraise it for it, but
Wow.
I did have to pay I think $300 or something, but
That's not
That's
bad
it.
at all.
and also we literally had to get to the school at 2 a.m. on New Year's Day. So none of us
Whoa.
got sleep. Our flight left at 5. We bused from our school at 2:30 to the airport.
That's not
And then
bad.
our flight left at 5. We landed in Orlando at 8 a.m.
Oh no.
And we went straight to Universal from the airport.
That's how
We were
Oof.
cooked, but man, that was a fun trip.
I was gonna say for mine was Disney, but I'm gonna change it up because I actually had to sit through a 24.5 hour bus ride to Disney with
Oh, we
my
flew.
senior year class, and
Oh
we
my
went
gosh.
to Magic Kingdom the day of. So it was 24-hour bus ride. I went to Magic Kingdom the day of. Fantastic time. But my answer was me, my mom, my dad. We drove up to Toronto and went to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
My city.
And it went to the Hockey Hall of Fame, and we went to, we stayed there and went to the Stranger Things experience. They had a Stranger Things experience up in
Oh.
Toronto, and yeah, it was really cool. They had a lot of actors and a lot of effects happening, so that was really cool. But I think my favorite part of that was it was about 20 minutes before close. And the cup's in the old cathedral, and it's there, and it's really there's a lot of stained glass windows. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I remember I walked up the steps, and it was 20 minutes before close, and there was not a single person in there. No security, no nothing, no anything. And I was like, wow, this is really peaceful. For the last 20 minutes before security came to lock things up. Really nice people, by the way. But I remember just walking up there. There was no line. There was no worry. So I was like, I paid for it in here. I'm gonna walk up here, and I just looked at the cup, and I was just reading the names and.
I thought you were gonna say you just picked it up.
You
and it's
stole the cup.
No, but it was, and then
That's a selfie, right?
What
Show
they,
me.
that was the selfie. I'll show it, but I also took another picture because they wouldn't let us during it. So sorry, Hockey Hall of Fame, but they had a stool for the little kids. I grabbed the stool because they wouldn't let you because people would put stuff in the cup originally, in the bowl. But the original Wanderer's name is in the inside of the cup with the Wanderers team, how they beat Kenora in the first ever original Challenge Cup final. And they wouldn't let you look in it. They would never. They're like, you cannot look in that thing. So no one was in there. So it was really cool. I took the stool and I went and I peered over and I was reading the names. And
Awesome.
I remember I got down and then security came in, but it was good. Yeah, it was just me standing on a stool and I was just reading the names on the inside of the cup. So it was really cool.
That's
It was it was very peaceful and it was just a good time.
See, you behave better than me, because if that happened to me, I'm grabbing that thing and I'm lifting it over my head and I'm going insane.
Picture me those
I'm
Stanley
actually
Cup champions.
I'm actually
No, I couldn't because
lifting
I feel like
the
it's just
Stanley Cup over
it's such
your
a.
head is
Well, here's the thing. It's one of those things where it's such a beautiful place. It's very calm.
No, it seriously is.
and it's such an amazing it's like an atmosphere. It's like you're there and
You
you're
can't describe it.
We
unless
need to
you're
have a
there.
shift day trip to
you cannot
Toronto
describe it
someday.
unless you're there because you feel so calm. It's like everything just, especially big hockey fans,
Yeah.
just you forget everything in the
Yeah.
world. And I remember just standing there, I was like, this is unbelievable.
I mean, whenever I went to the Hall of Fame, it was the summer of 16, right after the Pens won the
Oh
cup.
my goodness.
So they had kind of the new Penguin stuff there. So cool, dude.
Awesome.
It was so cool.
For me, because I kind of classify trips and vacations separately, so I won't say anything where I was gone for a week. No offense. Just me personally. Yours can count for you, but just for me personally, because I've had really great vacations, but I've also had really good short form trips.
Okay.
And those are some of the better ones too.
That is true.
Yeah, so I also went to Toronto, saw
Awesome.
the Hockey Hall of Fame. The night before that, though, the Leafs were in the playoffs, and we went to Maple Leaf Square and watched on the big screen, and the Leafs won. It was
Whoa.
very
That's
Leafs
cool.
actually
awesome.
won.
They won the game. They didn't win the series, but
Of course they didn't win the series. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
and it was the Bruins. So
Of course it was, because they never beat the Bruins.
um,
That is one thing I do want to experience, though. Once.
Maple
is
Leaf Square is
Yeah.
I want to experience
crazy.
Maple. I want
Here you go.
to. I want to be in Maple Leaf Square.
Have you been to Maple Leaf Square?
That is an insane.
Or is this the-
place.
That's me by myself in the last 20 minutes. I took
Really?
the picture of the inside of the cup. That's really
But
cool.
another trip that's up there for me was my senior trip to, we went to Cedar Point for 2 days, and
Love Cedar Point.
it was so much fun. Even though the group I was with, half of us were yeah, we'll do all the roller coasters, and then the other half were we don't really like roller coasters. I'm okay, I'm
Ugh.
doing everything. Bye.
Wow.
Not that I left them behind, but
No, but
they
that's
just,
yeah.
because they still stuck around with us. Yeah, but that was just fun. The last day before we left Ohio, we went to Kalahari, and we were just all so tired, and we were just Kalahari was probably the worst part of that trip. We were just we don't really want to do this. We just want to go home. It was fine to just sit in the lazy river for a bit and relax, but
Kalahari in Ohio.
yeah. But the just being at Cedar Point was
Yeah.
the best part.
You guys
It's
been
so
to
much
Wisconsin Dells?
No.
I've never been to Wisconsin.
Really?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Do you
Who
know? Do
goes
you
to
know what Wisconsin
Wisconsin?
Dells is?
No.
No.
Wisconsin.
It's just a bunch of water
Did
parks.
you just say
everywhere.
where's
Wow.
Wisconsin?
I said, who goes to Wisconsin?
People who live in Illinois.
People who like the cheese.
The cheeseheads.
Who like the Green Bay Packers?
Go Packer. Not
No.
Packers.
Well,
No.
Get out.
No. Get out!
All right. Well, that's all we have for this week.
that was a very successful. I really enjoyed today's episode.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
thought it was
great
fun.
That was a
episode.
lot.
And I'm excited to be the host of trivia during the trip. That's gonna
During
be
the trip.
awesome.
Wait, can we like stop at like a gas station and just do like a quiz in like the back seat?
Oh my god.
I was gonna say, what if we do like a hotel quiz,
I think hotel
Yeah.
quiz would
like
be better.
after the game, like, or depending on how the game goes. I don't even know, but
We'll win.
We'll just do a hotel quiz,
I know
but
we'll
in
win.
Megan's room.
Yeah.
no, yeah. Let's do a
Let's do it at the pool.
Oh, let's do
Is
a
there a
hotel.
pool?
I
Is there a
don't
pool?
know.
Oh, if there's a pool,
Hot tub?
Oh gosh.
Hot tub quiz, hot tub quiz, hot tub quiz, hot tub quiz.
freaking have a shift day hot tub stream.
Wait, what's the
No. Come back for the vlog next week
exclusive
on.
have a shift day?
Exclusive content.
Anyways,
Have a shift day plus.
thank you, CMI. Follow us on Instagram.
Five.
You gotta get that have a-
$4.99 a
you
month.
gotta get that Have a Shift Day Plus subscription, you know?
$4.99 a month.
Then you can hear our exclusive Have a Shift Day car playlist as well.
Oh, dude, wait.
You guys know the drill. Follow us on Instagram and X. Subscribe to Inside the Ring.
You guys are the
Subscribe
best.
to Have a
Call the
Shift Day.
merch,
We will
please.
see you next week.
Thank you again,
in
Robbie.
Columbus.
Help the merch.
Pray for me
Help-
and my sanity.
Help the merch, please, so we can go have another trip.
Yeah,
Why did I get quiet?
I don't know.
Dog, I
Pray
just wanna go on
for my
vacation.
sanity because
So,
I am
guys,
driving.
After this, we're so going to like a Vegas, right?
No.
Like that's our next trip.
I'm going next year.
I say like Montreal. We take.
I'm
Or
going to
Toronto.
we take his
Go to
jet.
the 6.
I'm
We
going
take-
to Vegas.
we take
next
it-
Bye, guys. Thanks
Thank
for
you guys so much,
watching.
and we will see you in Columbus.
Thanks
See
again,
ya.
Robbie.
Do-do-do.
Let's go,
Do-do-do.
Pens.